A major announcement for the internet computer? I think so. And the reason why is because we just saw Caffeine AI go live on the Amazon Web Services Marketplace. But now we see Dominic Williams, who's literally the founder of Dfinity, announcing that cloud engines, we could very well see them soon on Amazon Web Services. Whoa, you know, that is pretty impressive in my opinion. I think it's a pretty major announcement. Now, nothing I say is financial advice. I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but we have to let this kind of sink in for a little bit. Through cloud engines, Dfinity is focused on the cloud market. That's a market, by the way, that as of right now is currently worth around $1 trillion. And we just saw Caffeine AI go live recently on the Amazon Web Services Marketplace. So we already saw that cherry on top. Now we're seeing an even bigger cherry on top, if that kind of makes sense. We already see the cake, we already see the icing, and then this is the multiple cherries on top, in my opinion. Now, before I continue on any further, please excuse my voice because I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. But you know what? If there's good announcements when it comes to their computer, I'm not going to stop. That's the thing. I'm just going to keep doing it and try to get through it. And I'm feeling a little bit better already when I take a look at something like this. But yeah, besides that point, I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but it's often easy to overlook this because people like to say, well, who cares about this? The internet computer is at around $2. But we have to consider the magnitude of something like this. First of all, some enterprises out there, they only exclusively care about certain marketplaces in some cases. Like some may only care about the Amazon Web Services Marketplace, others may care about something else. So if let's say cloud engines, if we see them on Amazon Web Services, could you imagine that? That's going to be better exposure, better notoriety, and also on top of that, it could indirectly foster better adoption. Because let's think about this. Cloud engines, we've seen the demo, so we've seen the demonstration. However, we haven't really seen the full-on launch yet. But if we do see it, and Dominic Williams is already thinking about it being on Amazon Web Services, that could be something massive in my opinion. Now, clearly, people like to say, well, Caffeine AI, it went live on the Amazon Web Services Marketplace, didn't really do much to the price of the internet computer, still at around $2. It's true. Well, it's because the reason why this is the case is because during a market downturn, a project can be doing so amazing. In a random pure hypothetical, they could be having a partnership with Justin Bieber. They could be doing stuff like that, but it wouldn't really matter much if the market isn't doing the best. But sometimes I like to put myself in a frame of mind. I like to put myself in a different perspective. When I take a look at a project that I'm a fan of, I take a look at the news and I take a look at the updates, and I ask myself this question. Would that news or would that update be massive if the market was doing better? And if the answer is yes, then automatically, it doesn't matter if the internet computer is at around $2, $3, whatever, I'm still going to think it's pretty massive regardless, because had this been in 2025 or 2024, this announcement would have been so massive. But I still think about it the same way even as of right now. It doesn't change the magnitude of an announcement of that caliber, in my opinion. Maybe it's easy to overlook it because the price isn't doing the best, but in terms of the actual accomplishment, in terms of not only Caffeine AI being live on the Amazon Web Services Marketplace, which I made a video on, but also on top of that, Dominic Williams thinking about Amazon Web Services and how we could very well see cloud engines on there, maybe soon. Wow. Again, I'm very surprised at this, by the way, because this kind of came out of left field. No one really thought this was going to happen, but apparently they're thinking about it, and we've already seen Caffeine AI again go live on the Amazon Web Services Marketplace. So when it comes to Dominic, he's not playing around. I get it. People like to say, oh, he doesn't update as much. Well, yeah, I mean, this is not a meme. They're going to be taking things a little bit more slow. And also on top of that, sometimes working on something like in the caliber of cloud engines, Caffeine AI, working with, major partners out there, that type of stuff could take quite a while to do. It's not like they could just do it all in a day and then it's like, oh yeah, it's all good. No, it doesn't really work that way. Usually it takes a lot of time. But also on top of that, if it takes a lot of time and they're actually putting the effort and putting in the actual intent there, it doesn't really matter to me if they don't update as much, because as long as the product is good, then I don't mind. However, we've already seen some indications of a I guess, good launch when it comes to some of the products that Dfinity has. Like, for instance, Caffeine AI version 3 and Caffeine AI overall is a self-running apps platform, so that's pretty cool. And then also on top of that, we see OEC version 2. They're working on cloud engines. So again, when I take a look at what's going on currently, I'm pretty surprised at the current situation. Not because of the price, but because of the actual fundamentals. I think it's pretty legendary. Now, people like to say, well, it's around $2, but if anything, this being at around $2, if it goes back to around $9, we're over 4 times more than that. Keep in mind, we were just at around $9 in November of last year. I'm pretty surprised at that, but nonetheless, though, if we could very well see cloud engines on Amazon Web Services, that would be such a major victory. Now, when could that be? Who knows? He didn't say a date. There was no specified timeline. However, one thing we do know, though, is that they often don't do pranks. They often, don't do jokes like this. Usually, if Dominic Williams or individuals out there on the team when it comes to Dfinity, when they say coming soon, when they say, oh, they're planning to do this or do that, they usually have an intent, right? They're not just doing it for fun. I know some projects out there, they like to make, I guess, very vague and ambiguous messages like that just to create attention or hype. But this is completely different. When they say stuff like this, they usually take it a little bit more seriously because it's a more serious project anyways. But nonetheless, I'm pretty happy to see that Dominic Williams is even planning for cloud engines to be on Amazon Web Services. Wow, I'm very surprised. However, it's been Lee the Captain, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next video. I'm out. Peace. Bye.